What's up, fellas? Back for another Tech Tip Tuesday. So this should be, I believe, video number 3 for my tech tips. So today I want to talk a little bit about blocks. Okay, tech tip video number 1, I talked about using glazes and 1-part putties in order to fix minor chips and imperfections in your paint job throughout your bodywork. Okay. Video number 2, I went through talking about how I use the guide coat and the reasons why I use the guide coat. Okay. At the end of video number 2, we started talking about blocks. So I'm making these tech tip videos for you guys because I get questions here and there, and sometimes I do this work and I think, I'm doing this work and trying to show you what I do, but I'm not explaining things. So this is what I'm doing. I came in here today to make these videos for you guys. I made all 3 of these tech tip videos in one day, and I'm going to post them on Tuesdays, okay? Unless you guys have a video that you really need and you really want me to post, I can do that for you. Let me know. I want to talk a little bit about blocks. I started to talk about blocks and blocking in my past tech tip video. So, guys, there's a lot of things out there about blocks. There's some very expensive blocks out there. I mean, blocks ain't cheap. Some of them are. Okay, some of them are cheap. You can buy them at AutoZone. You can buy them pretty much anywhere. Paint stores, depending on what you buy. So let me grab a couple things here to explain some stuff for you fellas. So this is what I do, okay? I invested a little bit of money in my blocks, but at the same time, guys, there's blocks out there that are way more expensive. So big kid blocks, linear blocks, they're expensive. If you buy them one at a time, they're decently priced, but you want a set, they're like $500, $1,000. I've looked at them. I love a set of big kid blocks. I love a set of linear blocks. I like them both. I mean, I've never got to use them, but when I look at them, I'm like, dude, I'd be happy with either one. But I just have not bought any. So with that being said, guys, the blocks I use, I've been using Durablocks, okay? I've been using these blocks forever, and they work for me. Some people don't like them. There's 2 types of blocks that you can buy. So just like sandpaper's 4 blocks, okay? I buy these rolls. I use Duragold. I get it off Amazon, and they come in 2 types. You have your sticky back, and you have your hook and loop that's furry, okay? So I always use sticky back, but recently I bought this block here off Amazon, and it had the option for sticky back, which is here. Your sticky back goes to this piece, and that piece goes to the hook and loop. Well, I had this 320 that I was going to start using, and it was hook and loop. I ordered the wrong one. So I always use sticky back. Well, good thing I had this block that had hook and loop. So it works. But you see these block, guys? Be helpful if I put the camera the right way, no? Well, this block contours. You turn that little thing in the middle and it bends. So you can get it on a flat panel, or you can contour this thing to fit like the contour of the panel and block. I hate those stupid videos where they do that. So stupid. But anyway, probably just a New Mexico thing, honestly. Bunch of idiots. But yeah, I'm from New Mexico. I can say that kind of shit, because we are a bunch of idiots 90% of the time. What's up, eh? For no reason. Let's go get a road rage. Fucking stupid idiots out there. Whatever. Anyway, we're talking about blocks. Not blockheads. But anyway, this block's nice, guys. It's cheap. And it's nice because it contours and I'm easy to use. It's easy to hold and push and keep flat and consistent on your panels. Okay, so getting into blocks. These blocks right here are fairly cheap. AutoZone, O'Reilly's, whatever, Amazon. I like these little blocks. They're good, but you cannot block a big old panel with this little block. You know, you're going to get waves. This is for small stuff, okay? All in here. I mean, if you're going to block this panel, you know, you got to move. You can't just block in one place because all you're doing is creating a low section by sanding here and not there. So you move consistent. If this is all you have, move. X patterns also consistent. Move. Don't stay in one place. Okay? Small blocks. Let's get into medium blocks. Medium-sized blocks. This little block works pretty good. Okay? This is something, you know, if I was going to go and I needed a longer style of block, I would get one like this. Or like that. You know, they're maybe 50 bucks. I don't know. I would say that's probably 14 inches maybe. That's probably 12. These blocks, guys, you can get away with. Okay? I use this block all the time. I sanded this panel with this block. Now, can I sand this panel with that block? Yes, it's probably better. Okay? Because look, you have a big dent here. You're sanding, this block may be inside the dent and you're not catching that dent. So look at this here. Okay? Let's see, it's in this little section here, right here. Look at this. Now if I sand over that, you think that this big section is going to show a dent? Yes. Okay? So if you're just looking to buy a few blocks, these are not that bad. I like sticky back, but sometimes when you put your paper on, make sure you clean the back because your paper won't stick to it. Okay? I also love this little block. I have two of these and I actually cut a piece of one off to make this block smaller and then to have a little tiny nub. I just did that because I had two of them, and I needed a smaller block. But these little blocks are great. I love these little blocks for little corners, underneath little pieces like that. You know, this big old block, I can get in there with this. But using this, way easier. You know, getting in that little section there, perfect for blocks, okay? Yes, you probably need to buy a round block. Can you get away without using one? Yes. But I would recommend it unless you know what you're doing. Panels like this here has a contour. Look at that contour, okay? If I was going to sand this with a square block, I would use this edge and slightly cant it and follow the contour with this block. What makes it easier? Round block. Round block on this panel, up and down. Twist it if you need to, up and down, round. Look at that little section right there, guys. Look at that contour in there. Look at that. Don't sand this way. You're gonna get yourself a dip. Take your block and twist it back and forth in there. If you need to sand this way, make sure you're consistently sanding back and forth at an angle. Cross patterns, twist it, get it in there, okay? There is blocks on Amazon that come in so many different shapes and sizes, and they're not that expensive. You may need to spend $100 or so. I don't know what they go for. I've just been buying all these blocks over time, and if I would have just saved some cash and bought the entire set, probably would have been cheaper for me. But I was like, every time I go to the paint shop, I'm like, ooh, look at that block. I want that one. And I go buy that one and then that one. So now I have all these blocks, pretty much have the whole set, right? Sometimes with paint stick, guys, I use paint sticks too. Paint sticks work. You know, little panels like in here, like this little panel right here, you could paint stick this all day. Look at that. No pressure. Real light, real simple. Guide coat comes right off. You know, I use paint sticks. They're flat. You know, I wouldn't block an entire car with a paint stick. You can, but I wouldn't. I mean, who says you can't do it? I mean, if you're a professional at it, you can do it, then do it. But blocks come in all kinds of sizes, guys. Look at this big old behemoth. Big old mama. You know, and see how it's actually kind of contoured? You know, it's not actually flat. But, you know, look at that. These, you push it. Okay? So, here's another thing. Let me put you on the stand. Let me show you something about blocking that I've learned. Once again, I'm not professional in any way, shape, or form. I'm a DIY guy, and I'm just trying to help y'all out. This block is not 100% straight. Look at that thing. It's like a banana, okay? Doesn't mean that you can't get this panel. This panel is not completely straight. It's contoured. But look at this. You push it flat. Find a place, both hands on something like this. Keep it flat. Block at a, you know, well, look. You could even kind of get it a little flatter. There you go. Where you can feel the center hit, ends are on there. If I was going to use this block on this panel, I would put my hands roughly right here. And I would block like this, okay? X patterns. X patterns is the best way to block, guys. It gets consistent all the way across the panels. You don't have to do completely X patterns, but it's better. This kind of block I would use on the side of a truck bed, maybe the roof of a car, a big trunk, a big hood, stuff like that. If not, this block here is not bad. It's about half the size, right? Then you have this one. It's about 3/4 of the size. And then you got the skinny one that's like 1/4 size or half size of these blocks. You got your round blocks. You got your little tiny blocks, okay? There's all kinds of blocks, guys, all over the place out there. And get what you need and what works for you, okay? In fact, here's my other little one. I cut this one off. I cut a chunk of this one to make it smaller, and it works. See the difference? Now I have this little end piece somewhere laying around here, a little nub that I use. And that little nub, I use that little nub all the time, especially for like a chip like that. Take the paper and I just block that little piece real quick and make it flat. No pressure, so I don't cause dips. Easy money, guys. Little blocks. We have dang, my phone blowing up like usual. I better answer it before my wife gets mad. Round block, always need a round block. Of course, you got the little block. You have this wonder block. Some people like this. I have just never had really good outcomes with this block. I'll use it, but it contours outward. So like this. So like in this little spot that's kind of round right here, I would use this or this round piece to get in there. This here, you can kind of use this corner edging of it because it contours it. Or you can push it and use it flat. I don't like this block for flat. I don't. But stuff like right here, this is perfect for it because it's got that same contour. Look, this thing fits right in there. That block's perfect for that. It's like a puzzle, guys. Wet sanding blocks. These are called soft blocks. I don't know if you can see me. Damn it. So, these are called soft blocks. They're spongy. Okay? These spongy blocks, they're used to wet sand. You know, if I'm going to wet sand this panel, I could use a regular block and wet sand and it's just fine. These ones, put your hand flat, fellas, flat, and push consistently. Don't push hard. I like using wet blocks when I'm color sanding a car with the clear coat. Sometimes I'll use them on stuff like this. It just depends on, you know, what you need. Just know that they're available and that you have the option for a soft block. Soft blocks also help you with the contour of stuff just like this. You don't have a round block, you don't have one of those wonder blocks. This thing here, you know, pinch the sides of it, it contours. You know, whatever you need, it's not hard, it's common sense to just think, all right, well, I have this soft block and it contours that. Can I use that? Yes. Do you need to go out and buy this block for 20 bucks, 10, 15, 30? I don't even know what this costs. No. Could I go out in my backyard and get a thick piece of PVC pipe that's laying around out there and put the sticky paper on that? Yes. I've done it. Okay? This is considered a block, but this is something that you use to rough in things. Do not use this to finish. Use your hands, your elbow grease, and your other blocks, your hand blocks. This is a rough in. Big panel has Bondo and a big spot here, you know, and you want to take a lot of that material off of there. Brrr, this thing, X pattern, makes that big panel flat. This gets you in a ballpark, okay? You can put thinner sandpapers on this and still get yourself in a good ballpark area. Guide coat, you can still use this. Get yourself in a good area, primer, and then go to hand blocks, okay? Like, that's what I do. That's how I use my blocks, okay? Block sanding, I'm just trying to think about different, you know, things to talk about here with this block sanding stuff. So I use a block on everything, fellas. I use a block through everything. Air tools I use at the beginning stages. Finishing stages is all by hand, okay? It's all by hand and by feel, and just use that block. Don't use your fingers. If you got to get in a spot where you got to use your hand, make sure you keep your palm flat or on the side of your hand right here in a gap, but don't dig in the paint. Don't dig in the panel. You know, light, keep it flat, use paint sticks, use whatever you can find, you know, that's gonna work for you to contour to stuff like that. I've seen people use phone books, dude. Literally, they tape a phone book and they wrap their paper on it to get like in a panel, 59 Impala. They go up, they curve real strong underneath that wing. How are you gonna get something that big in there to sand? You buy a big old piece of chunk of PVC pipe, or you just fold something in half, whether it be a big piece of sponge or a foam book, whatever, put your paper in there and you sand. Okay? That's blocks for you guys. I mean, it's not rocket science, guys. Trial and error. You need to get out there and use the block and figure it out. Test things. Go outside and spray some guide coat on something and sand it and see if there's a dent there. You know, test your stuff out. Mess with it. You know, you're only going to learn by using it. So that's what I have for blocks. That's what I use. That's how I use them. And if you have any questions, hit me up. If I don't respond, hit me up again. I don't always get notified when I get messages on there for some reason, but I will continue to check. I will continue to make Tech Tip Tuesday videos for you guys. If you have any questions about things, I will try to help you out no matter what. Once again, I'm a DIY guy. I do this in my home shop. This is not a professional business. It's not a business. I do this for YouTube. I do this for fun. I do this to gain more experience and to better my skill in what I do. And I like to do this. I like to spend my time in here and get more proficient with the tools I have, get better tools as I go, learn as I go, and I'm here to spread the wealth. So if you guys have a question you need me to, answer, or if anything I can help you figure out, hit me up, let me know, and we'll go from there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. My channel is free. I have no fees, no hidden nothing. I don't ask you for money. I don't care if you send me stuff. I don't care. I just want to do this for you guys, and I enjoy making these videos. So in that case, we're always here 24/7. Casket Customs in the house. That's my shop. That's my home shop. And Caskets Fab Shop on YouTube, fellas. Like and subscribe and tell your homies about me. Peace.